Hello, people. Welcome to season 2, episode 5 of Gigs and Ghosts, season 2. This week we have a very special guest, a good friend of mine. He is the drummer in Random Hand and does lots of other things too because you're frankly amazing. Can we welcome his time, Mr. Sean Howe?
What? How we doing? You all right?
I'm good, buddy. How are you? What's been going down?
I'm doing real well. I'm good. I'm great. Yeah, everything's going pretty crazy at the moment. Really busy with lots of stuff. Random Hand have been making lots of videos, which has been insane. Like, it's been really, really bonkers and busy. They made like a room inside a room last bank holiday weekend, so that was pretty insane.
I saw a photo from that. Yeah. Well, Sean, what we're going to do here, you see, is we're going to start this podcast talking about your life in music, where you came from, where you've been, where you're going, all that sort of shit. And then we're going to talk about ghosts and all things spooky dooky.
I can't wait.
Have you been on the exercise bike?
I have, yes. You can see that, right? Yeah, I've been. I wanted to get myself feeling really good for it. You know what I mean?
Well, you look fantastic, man.
I do a little bit of exercise and I always feel really like chipper. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I didn't want to come on and be tired.
I understand that. Well, Sean, we're going to start at the beginning.
Okay.
The Big Bang of Sean Howe. How did you, my man, get your start in the world of music?
Well, I suppose it all started really when I started going to. I had an uncle. Like, I've got my mum's brother. He lives in Cornwall, right, and I was from North Wales.
Yeah.
So every now and again, basically, they decided that they would just take me down there for a week and to Cornwall, go and stay with my uncle and that, and they stayed with us. And I was loving it so much, they were just like, "Oh, should we just fuck off and leave him? Because he seems to be having a really good time here." So they just went AWOL for a week and left me with my uncle and my auntie. And my auntie was like a die-hard Queen fan. She absolutely loved them. The
band Queen or the Queen?
Oh yeah, no, the good Queen, the real one. So, but I started watching all the videos and that, and I just loved the drummer Roger Taylor. I thought he was amazing. He had these sunnies and he had a blonde mullet, man. You know what I mean? So a leather jacket. He looked the part all the time. So I was like, this guy's amazing. So I started trying to be an imitation of that guy just by beating the shit out of all the biscuit tins at my auntie and uncle's house. And then I got back up to North Wales and just started doing the same, basically until they bought me a drum kit. I just had to make them cave. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. So in the end, I just kept persevering, man. Just kept persisting, and eventually they got me a drum kit. And it was a full drum kit, and they didn't know how to set it up. So they sent me to walk the dog round the block. And when I came back, they were like, "Yeah, you're gonna need to do another walk around the block, mate, because we're not ready yet." So went around again and then knocked on the door, and they were like, "Nah, we're still not ready." And then I got up after the third time, and this drum kit was laid out. There's a Facebook group I follow called Badly Sold Drums, because I just really like to look at badly sold drums, absolute catastrophe. And it kind of looked like that, so the snare drum was where the floor tom should be, and everything was just set up absolutely in a row, it was in a shop window or something. It looked really weird. Like
when you go to a venue and they say, "We've got a house drum kit, you don't need to bring one."
Yeah, exactly. It just looked exactly like that. Yeah.
And so is it always been drums? Drums is always been your passion?
Yeah, man. I absolutely adore it. It's weird because I've been doing it a really long time now, innit? It's I've been drumming for 25 years, and I've tried to pick up other instruments. Yeah, man. It's it's weird. It's so weird. I keep trying to play the piano. I play a bit of keys. I play a bit of guitar, and I sing because I'm working as a music therapist now. So you've got to do a lot of different instruments, but none of them feel anywhere near as good as playing the drums. It just doesn't compare.
With music therapy.
Yeah.
Now tell me if I'm wrong. Is that you get somebody in for therapy and you go, Are you okay?
Yeah, we just basically make a musical. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
Well, musicals make everyone feel better, man. What's your favorite musical?
You know what? It's a weird one because I started watching loads of them recently because I wanted to start trying to branch out a little bit and work in like dementia care.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, well, I need to know quite a lot of musicals because they seem to get used quite a lot in that area. But I really, really loved The Sound of Music,
The Hills
which
Are
is a
Alive,
weird
man.
one. I did not think I'd enjoy that one. I was like, I just binged them all over lockdown, like, and I was just listening to loads of them. When that one came on, I was like, whoa, yeah, loved it, absolutely loved it, absolutely amazing. Most of them I didn't like. I'm not a musicals kind of guy, but the Book of Mormon is like,
Not
I've seen
seen
that
it, don't
twice.
know a song. I really want to see it, man.
You've got to see it. It is so funny.
I
You
mean,
will wet yourself laughing, honestly.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because
funniest
I
thing.
think Grease and Grease 2, top tier, the two best musicals. I
Ah
mean,
man, you can't go wrong with Grease, but I've never seen Grease 2. I don't know about that one. Like, is it
watch it,
good?
man.
Yeah, it
It gets a
delivers.
lot of shit, but some of the tunes on that, man, are just banging. I mean, it's questionable. There's a song like where a guy is trying to convince his girlfriend to have sex with him because he's claiming that he's going to join the army. He's like going, "Let's do it for our country, the red, white, and the blue." But it's but there's some
Elements of
great.
persuasion.
Because
Yeah.
Greece was so.
Well, yeah, the original Grease was also pretty. But I mean, I've got a T-Birds tattoo right here.
Ah,
That's how
nice.
much I love Grease. But
Love it.
I mean, have you seen the Bat Out of Hell musical?
No, I've still not seen that, and I love Meatloaf.
It's stunning, man.
Is it?
It's so good. Yeah. I mean, I cried. I sang. I saw one of my friends get pushed over a chair and fall down the theater things on top of loads of other people with all the wine. It was just
Oh,
an
no.
all around good time. And it's just a great musical, dude. Really, really
Yeah.
good.
You can't go
But
wrong with the Meat Lord.
you can't go wrong with a loaf, man. Although he had some bad ideals, turns out, bit right wing.
We're just gonna scooch past them,
Get past
because
that, man,
the
because
music was so good.
he was so good, man. He was, but when did you start getting into playing in a band?
Well, I was in primary school, right, and
That's
I
not
had
the
a
name of
really
a band. That's school.
At school. So I was in the school carnival. We had a little village carnival because I lived in a
Yeah.
tiny village, and we had a Disney themed carnival. And my head teacher was like, "Do you want to play drums in the school musical?" So like my dad schlepped the drum kit over to the school, and like they got like a little built up stage made for everyone, and like everyone got on that. But like they gave me a little riser. You know what I mean? I was only 11. It was
Ooh.
absolutely sick. It was so good.
Yeah.
And and then I had a bunch of guys in my primary school that wanted to join a band, and like we'd all like barely just started, and we were all shocking. But we had a really cool like logo. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like the logo was definitely better than the band. The band was called the Scavengers.
Strong name. Strong name.
Yeah. And we had one song. I think it was called "Walking Down from Heaven," and the lyrics were insanely bad, but it was hilarious.
Excellent. What was your first actual band you were in?
I was in a band called Zombina and the Skeletons.
Fuck, I remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I booked them at the West Riding once.
No way.
Yeah. Because I never knew you were in Zombina.
Yeah, for a couple of years. They was just so much fun. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Every song was about ghosts or like zombies, Dracula. Yeah, it was savage. They're the absolute best. They're lovely, lovely people. They do a band called APAT now. Well, a couple of them do.
When were you in Zombina? I wonder if I saw you while you were in there.
It was like really early on. Like they've been going like a little while, but I joined that band in like 2001.
All right, yeah. It was after that when I booked them big time.
Yeah.
But,
They're crackers, absolutely crackers. So much fun.
And then you
And
went from...
they got me
Sorry,
onto the
carry on.
Misfits. They got me onto the Misfits and like Rocket from the Crypt. They just got me
Yeah,
onto
yeah.
loads of really great bands. Yeah, it was awesome.
Man,
Sorry.
horror
Yeah,
punk's just fantastic though. There's a lot of really good horror punk bands out there. And
Innit,
a lot
man?
of shit ones, to be honest.
It doesn't matter though, innit? It's just a
It
style.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. It's fantastic. It's just perfect. It's like let's make this genre of just zombies and punk rock. Fuck yeah. You know, they go hand in hand. Hence this podcast, to be honest, you know.
They totally do. Yeah.
And then from Zombina, where'd you go next?
I joined a band. I was in a band around about the same time called the Way Riders, and it was a bit of a slow start with those lot because they had some really really good ideas, but it didn't really kind of like come about for them for quite a while. We did 3 albums, and the third one I'm really really proud of, but I don't think any of us are proud of anything we did before that, and we did a lot of very questionable ska punk, basically. Yeah,
we've all done questionable ska punk.
We had those years.
Yeah. We did. Because I was lived in Leeds when Shiraz first started, and I think we were called. People used to call us trumpet punk shit. is one, and you know Jim Harris.
Yeah,
I remember the first time he saw us, he wrote a beautiful review how we were the worst band he'd ever seen.
Oh, that was nice of him, wasn't it?
Just like, you know, he's a man who doesn't mix his words.
He likes to say it how he sees it, doesn't he? Yeah, he's quite an opinionated fella. So yeah.
I mean, we were playing at the Cockpit this all day, and there was like King Prawn, there was Whitmore, Sonic Boom 6. They hadn't been going long. Us, a bunch of other bands, and we were above Sonic Boom 6 on the bill because it's when we were popular back then. And I gave Jim a flyer at Joe's as well one night, going, "Oh, you should come to this gig, all right?" And he was like, "Are you above Sonic Boom 6?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's a fucking disgrace. That's disgusting." I was like, "So do you want to buy a ticket, mate? Because I've got some cheap ones." But then we eventually became really, really good friends. But you know when you're
he's
young,
a character, isn't he?
You know when you're young and you're in like a ska punk band who plays questionable ska punk.
Yeah.
When people say you're rubbish, you just can't compute, and you're like, "But we make everyone so happy. Surely we're wonderful. Surely we're the best band in the world."
It figures completely, doesn't it? I think, and also I need to add that if there is a picture of you in a white shirt and some big baggy shorts and a tie, I need to see it.
Oh, dude! On our first gig, I was wearing a deerstalker hat, Hawaiian shirt, checkered chef pants.
Excellent.
Looking fantastic. You know.
Did you get those from the army surplus?
No, I was a chef at the time at Joseph. I was like, well, this is pretty fucking ska. But you know, we've all had those, especially in the early 2000s. That's what we did. Everyone played questionable ska punk.
Yeah, it's got to be done. It's a rite of passage.
Yeah, it's like I sometimes think about the songs we did back then. Like we had one called Panty Sniffer, which was great. Green Banana Girl, which would never fly today. You know, it's just bad songs. But that's what it was about in the early noughties.
You've got to get involved with your questionable ska punk. I'm still in this questionable ska punk band now, in fact. So
yeah, that's what I was saying. As the full name is, Racist Random Hand. Is that right?
That's right.
Something like that. But were you after you did play some questionable ska punk? Who did you go to next? Because you've been in a few bands.
Let's see. I was in a band with a bunch of the guys from the Way Riders, and we kind of really wanted to fuse up like a dance, like electro rock hybrid, which is another, kind of sketchy scenario we often find ourselves in the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
But we gave it a damn good go, I think. I really enjoyed getting to know all the kind of the physics side of it. I tried to get my head around some of that side. How do you kind of operate a band where, you've got these triggers and stuff, you've got electric drum kit. And then I started going from the electric kit to a hybrid kit where I had a bit of everything. But yeah, we kind of went down to a 3-piece, and we got picked up by Well, it was this program called Orange Unsigned, and it was like Alex James from Blur, Joe Wiley.
I remember that show.
Yeah,
Was
it
it
was
on Channel
cool.
4?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch that, man.
Yeah, it was fun, man. We got on that, so that was a nice little break. Calvin Harris said I was like the best drummer of the day, but I'm pretty sure he said that to all the drummers.
Nah, just you, man.
But yeah, it was cool. We came on in like the weirdest attire, and we got absolutely slated for it by Alex James. He was like, "Why are you dressed as a golfer?" And I was like, "I have no real comeback for this." Yeah, so that was interesting. So that was quite nice for a little while.
What was that band called?
That was called Out From Animals.
Good name, strong name.
Yeah. It's quite hard to pronounce when you're pissed. That's the only thing.
Yeah. I'll have a few more beers and see how hard it is.
We'll see how it goes in like an hour's time, eh?
Yeah. So what happened with that band after or end it?
Yeah, it kind of just fizzled out naturally, really. The singer had a manager, and the manager was kind of like, steering the guy in lots of different directions. So we kept kind of like reinventing our sound, but not in like a good way. It just kept changing because of whatever people were telling those two people that it was kind of popular in Radio 1 at the time. Do you know what I mean? Like someone got wind to the next. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like someone got wind that Afrobeat was going to be the next big thing, so we've got to put more Afrobeat in. And I was just like, I mean, I love Afrobeat, but like, I'm not just going to change what I'm doing just to appease someone I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
I remember early ska punk Shiraz days, and it was always that thing, ska's going to become Radio 1 popular at one time, and then Paris Hilton brought out a song which was pretty ska, and Fonz's old guitarist at the time was like, "This is it, man. This is our fucking chance. Paris Hilton, ska, ta-da!" But it was a banging song. Did you hear that song?
Yeah, you know what? I never heard it.
It's really good, man. I'll send you a link later.
I think I know which one you mean.
You do know which one I mean. It's a really good song. That should be massive.
Is it really good or really good?
I mean, it's a proper summertime jam. You
Yeah.
can put it on at a barbecue and go, "This is sick."
Nice. Has it got a bit of a Lily Allen flavour? She was kind of a little bit ska.
Yeah, I mean, it's like proper.
Stars Are Blind.
Stars Are Blind. Yeah, it's like a proper laid back, lazy summer ska. It's just really nice.
Like Rihanna's first album. She's got some.
Did Rihanna have some ska?
She's from Barbados.
Oh, the home of ska. Yeah. Sorry, my friend Drunk Dave's trying to film me now. But not right now, Dave.
Just say that on this one as well.
I think you should answer it.
Nah. Fucking
Yeah, on the podcast.
But yeah, so that petered out, and then you moved on to another band because you've been in 84 bands.
I don't know how many bands I've been in. I need to count it up. But I've been in a lot. Yeah, I've been in about 30.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But I can't remember half of them.
So
I'm just lying, really. Yeah, I played in Chief. Yeah, that was great.
Chief,
yeah.
Chief were a great band.
Yeah,
It's
man.
Chief. And they became River Jumpers, didn't they?
Yeah, and River Jumpers were great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't in them. Yeah, but they were
I
awesome.
booked them quite a few times.
Oh,
I booked
nice.
Chief actually a few times. I used to have a Chief t-shirt.
That is savage. Was it?
Yeah.
It would have been after I was playing in them, but was it the Exposures t-shirt?
It said Chief.
Yeah.
And I think, from what I remember, it had some blue on it.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I've had a lot of band t-shirts over the year. I was thinking about it earlier, how many random hand t-shirts I've had over the years.
Yeah.
And how many I've left. I was wearing one yesterday because, I represent the cause. Not the band, of course, although they are great too. But, how did it come around, you coming into the fold with Random Hand?
Well, let's see. I was getting really fed up with my band around this time. So we'd been to Hamburg to record an album with our new manager who kept telling us to change our sound.
Manager,
mate, it wasn't the best time. So we all jumped at the chance to get on this guy's label because we played South by Southwest in Texas.
Sick.
And this guy was like, "Oh, I'd really like to sign you." And like always, I'm just really, really keen to walk into a fire and just go, "Yeah, let's do it." Yeah. But the whole band were really keen on it. So we went to record with this guy in Hamburg who was like this tyrant. And
a pirate or a tyrant?
Oh, he was a tyrant.
Right.
Like, yeah, he was just a very awful human being to work with. And I would argue he had quite a nice complex. Like not like as in a demeanor, he had a nice place. And he put us up in his like flat above the studio. And our singer said, like, you know, he turned round like in the middle of the night. He got woken up by me, air drumming, arguing with the producer. So I'm like, oh, it don't go like that. It goes like this. And I was just like absolutely losing the plot because this guy was driving me absolutely nuts. And when we got back after that, the band kind of disbanded, like, because we just had too much of a hard time.
Yeah.
And I just did 2 gigs with Random Hands. We played, hang on a minute. We did a week. It was 5 days. We strung out. And like Joe had left, Dimmers, Joe Dimanuitz.
Yeah.
Joe Dimuantes. I always pronounce his name wrong because he's
same.
Damn, I'm bad at that.
Dimmers.
But Dimmers. He'd left the band, and like someone mentioned that, you know, there was kind of like a new post available as the drummer for the band, and I knew the band like a little bit, like, you know, I knew a couple of them, and they looked like they were broke as F, but like absolutely had the best time. That was just them in a total nutshell. And I just knew I was going to have a lot of fun, but like I was going to have to abandon all the drumming teaching jobs I'd like quite recently acquired. I've been doing that about 2 years, teaching full time, and I was absolutely loving it. But I was in this really weird position, like living in Chester. I'd just broken up with my partner at the time. The band that I was in was falling apart. And I did this week with them and strung out, had an absolute blast. Got paid 50 quid for 5 days. And I was like, that's not a lot of money.
But, you know, that's the punk scene.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I wasn't expecting any more. You know, I was happy to get the 50 quid, but like, you know, I was just thinking, you guys, you know, it's like, it's a pretty, like a bold lifestyle choice you got to make when you're touring like that in a little van. So I ummed and ahed about it a lot, like, and I really, really annoyed them because like, I was like, I really want to do it. And they were like, we really want to have you. And I was like, let me think about it. And I just couldn't make up my mind. I just couldn't do it. Honestly, Mikey, it was like such a difficult period. And in the end, I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And I was like, no, I won't. I can't. And they were like, make up your mind. Jesus. Like, they were just about to bid me off, I think, when I just went, you know what, sod it, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how many years ago was that?
Like 13 years ago.
There you go. You see, you made a good decision.
Totally did.
But you said 13 years ago, but you did have that break.
We were on a break, yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, it's like the amount of bands I've known who've gone on hiatus and then come back. And, like, every time a band breaks up, Tim's guitarist always phones me and goes, like, number one bite said, Dust, Shiraz's still here. We'll be standing. And then bands always, then they get back together and they get much bigger. And where they're going, well, we're still here. Same place.
I can build around me. I'm not moving.
You're welcome, guys. You're welcome that we kept the scene alive for you.
That's it, man. You're holding up the fort.
Yeah. But before you went on the hiatus, like you did like was it Hit Reset just before?
That's right. Yeah.
With Andy, who was last week's guest,
Mr. Hawkins, the very same, very man.
the Hawk Lord, and like was it like just a case of like you were doing a lot before? You were doing a lot of touring, a lot of records, just out there. Was it just a case of like total burnout?
We were getting a little bit burny outy. Yeah. It was just getting a little bit difficult. Like we were all just kind of thinking like, well, we're getting pretty close to 30. We've not got any money, no aspects, no nothing's looking really that great.
Something's got to give.
Yeah, we need to go and get some jobs.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it is better to. You were doing so fucking much gig wise, because if you people at home don't know, I also work as a music promoter. And it'd be one of those things where every week I'd get the emails coming through, and it'd always be random hand. Do you want this date? And there'd be a list so long of dates you were doing, just so long, and it'd be just odd gaps every so often. And it's just like. It's hard work. I don't think people realize how fucking hard it can get when you're touring that hard on what is respectfully known as the toilet circuit. You know, you'll get the some good supports on a really good tour, but then you go back and you're doing these same places and stuff. And I totally understand why you got to that point. We did one once where you remember Fandangle.
They were amazing.
Yeah, we did the Animal Liberation tour, Mr. Shroud's Fandangle tour, and I think that was 90 gigs in 92 days or something.
What?
Yeah. Well, you know what Adam Bance is like? Hey, mate, I got this idea. We're going to get paid this much. We're going to play everywhere. It's going to be beauty. And we're like, the first night we played in like the Lake District in some tiny little town that nobody's ever heard of, and there was like 1,000 kids there. And we're like, this tour is gonna be the one. And the next 85 gigs we played to like 7 people. And those guarantees and riders were never there. And I remember the last day of it was the Underworld in Camden. And we were sat in the back of our shitty van with a loaf of bread that cost 12p and some ham, making ham sandwiches. We had all this cheap, out-of-date beer in the back that would be taken along so we could have something to drink. And so we can get a buzz, we bought some poppers and we're pouring it in lemonade and going... so you get to go, woo! We're like, this is a bit much. Our old drummer, because that year we toured America, we toured Europe, then we did this 90-day UK tour. And that was our old drummer left his really good job, lost his house, lost his wife, just one of those.
Oh, gosh.
And it does get to a point where you're like, we can't keep doing this. So I totally understand why you went on hiatus. Because you were doing, God only knows how many gigs you were doing a year back then.
Yeah, they used to do about 200 to 250 when I was first joined the bands.
Yeah. Fuck. But then...
it showed.
But I remember... when you were doing that end of the road tour before you took the hiatus, and we had a great show in Huntsville where Joey Cape ended up playing, and the guys at Alkaline Trio do just this
amazing
madness night and shit. And then, how long did you take the go on hiatus for?
3 years.
3 years. Did you miss it?
Yeah, we did. It was really weird to adjust life without Random Hand when we first finished.
Yeah, I guess if you're spending 250 odd days a year in each of us pockets, then suddenly you just strip that away. You're like, now this is real life.
I mean, we did kind of calm down a little bit before then. We'd kind of gently wound it down a little bit, and we were becoming more of like a weekend band. But it was just going from a really great time to not having anything kind of coming up next was really... it's something I remember, to always plan for if anything like that happened again, always make sure that you've got something else going on. Because we were all just twiddling our thumbs, I think, for a couple of months after that.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah, but just to let you know, we've got 3 minutes left of this Zoom, then we'll just set up another one.
Cool.
Will we edit that part out or send that out, or should we just leave it the fuck in?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But yeah, we'll carry on with this. So how... aside from missing touring, did you enjoy the hiatus? Seeing real human life?
It was quite nice. I'm not going to lie. It was quite nice to get back to a bit of normality. We all, the three, me and Dan and rewind. Me and Joe and Robin all went and finished our degrees
Yeah.
Because I'd never done a degree, but the other two had left their degree. Oh, was it? Yeah, I think Joe left his degree to do the band.
Yeah.
I think Robin was starting his degree and didn't finish it or something like that. So Robin went to do a degree in theatre, and I went to do a degree in jazz.
Jazz, baby!
Jazz. And and Tustin did really boring events management.
Yeah, of which he still does.
Yeah, but he's crushing it. He's doing really well.
He's just got his new job on and everything. So
Yeah.
We're
He's doing really
very
well.
stoked for him, man. Very stoked for him. Right, what we're going to do now is we'll take this quick little break, and then I'm going to send you a new code, and we'll start again because we're far too cheap to buy Zoom. Woo!
Woo!
I'll be right back with you, man.
All right, mate.
Sword.
Hello, Chico.
Hello, darling. So, as I was saying, like you did went in this hiatus 3 years. How did it all start about the comeback? Like, thought we're going to come back.
It's probably something to do with Mr. Tilston, isn't it?
More than likely.
The man that makes stuff happen. Yeah. We were obviously really gutted that we didn't really get to play much of that album when we were coming to a close. When we got back onto it, we started playing a few songs off that album and really enjoyed it. We just felt like, it was totally right to keep it going. Like, as soon as we got back together, you know what I mean? Bit of a ropey first practice, and then boom, good to go.
But it's like the very cool thing is as well, like you came back, you started playing these songs off Hit Reset. People were very excited to have you back. Yeah. And I'm going to say, I think now you've come back and you're more popular than you've ever been. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's weird how like a hiatus can do that for a band, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we played your comeback show in Leeds, and it was just insane. We also played your goodbye show in Leeds. So
amazing. Yeah, man. It's an absolute honour to always have you with us, man. Like, we get you on a bill with us whenever we can because we absolutely love Mr. Shiraz.
But yeah, so you came back, and it just seems to be going like from strength to strength to strength, and now you recorded a brand new album with the Hawklaw and Andy Hawkins. And how excited are you about this?
I really can't wait for that. I absolutely can't wait for everyone to hear the new album. We're all so happy with it. Like, it's been weird, because, in 2020, when everything was going a bit mental, we started writing a lot more stuff. Yeah. And I remember writing 10 songs, and submitting them all to the band. And
but you're a drummer.
Yeah, I'm a drummer, yeah, exactly. So well, how come we never write any of my songs, guys?
What's this song called? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's great. But as Andy was saying last week, we were bigging up the old Random Hand quite a bit, and he's going, see a band who's been going as long as Random Hand, and then to have this new album, which people are getting very excited about, and see a band 20 years in doing their, as he said, the best work they've ever done, pushing shit forward and stuff. Like, what should people expect from the new album?
So it's got plenty of the usual stuff. It's got plenty of ska. You won't be disappointed there. But it's got a few twists and turns. We're really excited about it because we've got to push the boat out a little bit, which we creatively just always want to do a little bit of. I mean, I think the way Joe wanted the studio album to go would be like Dark Side of the Moon, and there'd be alarm clocks and monkeys and who knows what, you know what I mean? We'd record it in a swimming pool and just take 30 seconds of it, and time's you never got that much time when you're working with it.
But yeah, you've got some guests on the album and stuff. Are you allowed to say who the guests are, or is it still top secret?
You know what? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say who's on it. But yeah, there are some nice guests. So we're very
I'm
much.
allowed to say it. Taylor Swift's on there.
yeah,
It's,
Beyonce's on there. Yeah.
yeah.
Stormzy, he's on there.
Stormzy's on there.
Everyone's on there. Yeah.
Jared Glitter.
No.
delete.
He's on vacation. It was too expensive.
Yeah. Gotta pay that bail, baby. But there's also like in this run up before all this, you debuted Handfest to celebrate 20 years of Random Hand.
Yeah.
The first was a 2-dayer at Brudenell, which sold out super fucking quick.
Yeah, it was the same, wasn't it?
And had some incredible bands on it. And then, of course, I jumped on the back of that. I was like, the one in Huddersfield, which is still one of my favourite gigs I've put on because what a lovely day.
Oh, it was wonderful. Yeah.
I mean, the whole idea behind Handfest, it's like Random Hand and their mates' bands who around pretty much 98% are just fantastic.
There's a lot of good bands in the scene, isn't there? You know, and it's been a bit strange, kind of like, you know, having something where we organise something and then lots of bands are underneath that. You know, like it's a bit of a strange thing to get your head round. But you know, you're only going to be 20 years old once, aren't you? You know,
exactly, man.
Yeah, might as well celebrate it.
I've been 20 years old for 20 odd years now. Yeah, but and today, literally today, you've just announced your album tour.
Yeah,
and some great dates on there. You should check out all the Random Hand socials and shit. See, because you played some fantastic places. Going up to Newcastle.
Yeah. We got Glasgow in there as well. Going to Scotland. I've been to Scotland for ages.
Yeah, and then you've got Handfest 3 coming up at the Dome.
Yeah.
And you've announced a couple of bands.
Have
you got? Do you know all the bands who are playing?
We have most of the list, yeah, but I think I've got to remain a little bit tight-lipped. But there are some good ones, though. Yeah, really excited.
When's the new album out?
In October.
Excellent. And does it have a title, or is that top secret too?
It is. We racked our brains. You know, we went over and over, and in the end, you know, we managed to come away with some real genius. You know, we were all really pleased with the title of the new album. And
is Cy Mitchell doing the art?
Cy Mitchell did do the art. Yeah.
Look, I like how keep everything stum. It's all secrets.
I know, but I am allowed to tell you the name of the album.
You are?
Yeah, so I was kind of like, you know, building it up.
Yeah.
Because it is, wait for it, self-titled.
Whoa, dude.
Mic drop, self-titled.
Oh, my God, I like it. I mean, you've got the banging new logo and shit as well, which you
should have heard the names that were getting floated around, Mikey. It was
tell me. I want to hear.
We had to put Robin out of his misery. What were they? The ones he kept coming up with, we were just like, oh my God, is this the best you got? I thought you wrote lyrics. But yeah, what was one? One was I'll have to come back to you. I've forgotten. They're so bad I can't remember.
Yeah, it's because you don't want to upset Robin. I know. I understand.
That's it. He's a sensitive chap, so
yeah. Yeah, but it's one of my favourite things is trying to come up with an album title because you let the other band throw their threepence in, and it's always such bollocks. Oh golly. Such bollocks. You know. But you know, and then end of the day, I know Tim listens to this podcast, so sorry, Tim. But the band throwing their ideas, and I go, oh yeah, that's all right. But I already know what it's going to be called, and I'm going to send it to printing place. So fuck up.
It's already gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who came up with Labrador then? Was that you? Was that your work?
Yeah. Labrador, yeah. I mean, it's about a dog that turns into a werewolf, so what else is it going to be called?
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's a great concept.
Yeah, but I know I'm very excited to see that album out there and very excited to see you out on tour. hopefully we'll jump on a date or two with you and we'll have a lovely, lovely time.
You're damn right.
But we've been talking about music for a little while now, Sean. Now, would you like to talk about
the nitty-gritty?
The paranormal.
Yes, I would.
The ghosts. Well, I always start this section of the podcast. I don't know if you've listened to any yet, but I always say, yeah, well, you'll know the question that's coming. It's this. I'm going to use your full name, Sean Howe. Do you believe in ghosts?
Absolutely.
My man in Amsterdam. That's what I love to hear. And have you always been a believer in the paranormal? Or is there something that sent you that way?
Well, you know what? When I was a kid, I always wanted to believe in ghosts. But then me mum gave me this like book, and it was like, it was called like Who, What, Where, When, Why. And it had all these little facts in it, and it was great. And something really annoyed me, actually, because like I was dead into ghosts, and then it was like, why do you think it's going bump in the night? And that was like, why? One of the why ones, you know. And I was like, but I quite enjoyed kind of being a little bit, you know, petrified of things that went bump in the night. And it was like, oh, but, you know, it's just things like, you know, pipes that like, you know, just need to cool down in the night so they make weird noises and...
Bullshit.
Yeah. Not so much anymore, no.
Yeah, you always hear these, especially from those, how I like to call them, non-believers, idiots. Calendar producer, one of them. But it's like, well, it could be this, and you're going, it definitely can't be that. Well, it could be that. Nah, it might. Well, what about the word that pisses me off most when I'm talking about ghosts is, well, science.
I don't say that.
And where's the proof? And you can show them all the proof in the world, aside from bringing Headless Barry from down the road, the ghost, in to show you. But there's so much shit out there, and so many stories, and people just don't want to believe, and they're just dicks.
You know, I have been on quite a few ghost tours in my time. I don't know about you.
I've been on one or two.
Yeah.
Sorry, Callum, you're not a dick. Sorry, I upset you, but I didn't mean you're a dick. Yeah, I went on the Edinburgh one.
Nice.
Bradford, the old police station. That was really cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What about you? Where have you been? What have you done?
I wonder if they still do that one in Bradford. I'd love to go on that. Yeah. So I've been on the Chester one. Chester one's really good. I used to live in Chester. And there was this guy who was making a sign for the Marlborough Arms, which is, I think it's on Marlborough Street. But he saw a ghost in the cellar. He shit himself, and he ran back up from the cellar and finished off making the lettering for his pub. And he spelt it the Marlborough Arms.
Oh, do you mean Mal?
Indeed.
You know, have you seen anything?
Well, there was this one time, but like, I don't want to go down too much of a macabre story as such, but
do it, man.
Well, you know, my own first-hand experience of ghosts is that when I was about, I was 12, and I got home from school one Friday night, and my dad is like, the dog has broken her arm. She's broken her leg. Sorry, the dogs don't have arms.
Dogs
She's
have
broken
arms.
her leg. She's broken her leg, and she's at the vet's. And I was like, oh, okay, sounds. Turns out my dad was covering up because the dog had been hit by a car, and he couldn't figure out how to tell me. Like, you know, he was really struggling to tell me. My dad was heartbroken as well. It's a family pet, you know. We were all heartbroken, but these things happen. But when I, you know, was coming home from school, I'd just been for my drum lesson actually, so I was coming home, it was quite late. It was about like 6 o'clock or something like that, and I'd saved a little bit of like, what's that sweet called? Where you've got like, it's licorice in a tube, and it's got like really crazy sherbet in the middle.
Oh yeah. I don't know what they're called, but yeah. No, not the dim dabs. The
Twizzle sticks.
yeah, but yeah. Nice.
They're great. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're so nice. And so like I saved like half of one for my dog because my dog loved them.
Yeah. Dogs love
Beagle.
licorice.
Yeah, well, our dog loved everything. It was a toilet, human. It was a doggy garbage disposal. But yeah, I saved half of that, and I was like, "That's for Spice. It's for the dog." And weirdly, the dog was called Spice. Don't ask. But like, I put it on the shelf, and then I dropped it, and then it just disappeared. It disappeared, Mikey. It was gone. And I was like, where is the licorice thing for the dog? And I didn't know about the dog at the time. Like, I was like, oh, where's it gone? It's gone. Where's it gone? Couldn't find it anywhere. And then, like, about an hour later, my mum comes in. My dad has to tell my mum what's happened. And, like, it all went a bit nuts. But, yeah, the licorice, Mikey, it just disappeared, mate. I never found it again. You know what I mean? No one picked up that licorice. It was gone. The dog was in my house and it had taken it. That's what I thought.
I think you're right.
I'm convinced.
Because dogs have souls, man. Dogs have souls.
Dogs are beautiful creatures. Of course they have souls. Absolutely.
They're not just beautiful creatures. They're the best creatures. They're the best things in the world. Nothing can. All that a dog feels is love.
It's just yeah.
Like my boy Bear, he's 14 and a half now. And I love that boy so fucking much. He's just there through everything. Every morning he wakes me up at first light, which at the moment is really fucking early. But I can't be mad at that because, he's just, I'll wake up his head going, oh. Hi, guy. You want to poo? Have you seen All Dogs Go to Heaven? Yeah.
No.
Don't, mate. Don't watch it. It's a beautiful film, but I don't think of that and an episode of Garfield are the two things that have made me cry more than anything else in the world.
Mate. Is it like in Transformers when Optimus Prime dies?
Kind of.
Original.
I mean, my brother took me to see that at the cinema, and that's when I realised what mortality is. And my heart was beating so hard in my chest, I thought that I was having a heart attack, and I was going to go out at the same time as Prime. So all are one. But yeah, hits hard. Even Optimus Prime had a ghost in some of the later cartoons and shit.
Oh man, there you go. That's legit, like evidence, to believe.
I mean, aside from the licorice stealing ghost dogs, have you got? That's a good name for an album.
Licorice stealing.
You wrote an album. It's called Licorice Stealing Ghost Dog. That could be a Shiraz title, to be honest. Nicking it, mate. Fine. But do you have any other ghostly experiences?
Nothing firsthand, but when I was a kid, we used to get told about a mansion down the road from us in Wrexham, and it was called Plasteg. And when the teachers really wanted to give us give us the willies, it was like, okay, do you know about Plasteg? And we were like, oh, I realised how that sounded.
Was it a Catholic school?
So this place Plasteg, it's rumoured to have over 14 different ghosts.
Holy fuck.
That's a lot of different
ghosts. That's more than the film 13 Ghosts.
Literally one more.
What stories do you have about these 14 ghosts? Do you know?
Well, it was used as a local court, and they would trial and hang people at the mansion for a certain period. The house itself is over 400 years old.
Yeah.
But one of the most prominent stories that people report is a woman in white off the A641, I think it is, which is the A road that runs past Plasteg. And it's rumoured that basically you see this woman in white because she is a daughter of Sir John Trevor the First, who was like some, Welsh king or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Sean Dewey Trevor the Second's dad.
Is it?
I don't know. Could be.
I thought you were just Googling that. Like, yeah, that's it.
No, I'm Googling something to show you in a minute.
So, he, was like some kind of aristocrat of some kind. And his daughter wanted to run off with the farmer's boy.
Well, I've just learned that Sir John Trevor was a Welsh lawyer and politician. He was Speaker of the English House of Commons from 1685 to 1687. And from 1689 to 1695, Trevor also served as Master of the Rolls from 1865 to 1689, and from 1693 to 1717. And now he is now a big fucking ghost.
Oh, well, there you go. That's it, man. That's it. So, here's the thing. His daughter wanted to run off with the farmer's boy. She gathered up all her jewelry and her money that she could find because her dad did not want him to marry. He was like absolutely against it. So she went to elope with him, and when she got all her stuff, she eloped late one night and she slipped and fell down a well outside the house, and she wasn't discovered for like 3 weeks.
Fuck.
Yeah. And then when the farmer's boy, he's got a crazy Welsh name. What's his name again? When he found out what had happened, he couldn't live with the guilt and he hung himself. Mm. So it's a really tragic tale. But that's why people say they see the woman in white in Plasteg, roaming around the A641.
I really want to go and find this.
You can stay there.
Oh, really? Because we're on about doing some on-site episodes, aren't we, Callum? Yes. Yeah. Because we're going to go to Pontefract Ghost out that Poltergeist house at some point and shit. And stuff like this. I was talking to my friend Johnny Sellers, good buddy of mine, and me and him both obsessed with ghosts, and we send each other ghost videos, ghost pictures all the time. When there's a new YouTube video from Nukes, we're like, oh, look at this. And I remember him telling me a story about a house in Huddersfield. And there's always been this like legend, like if you walk past this house, you'll see a woman looking out of this window. It's not just like Barbara who lives there. It's like it's the same woman, like people have been seeing her for years and years and years. And he'd never told this other guy this story. I think it was his friend Chris who saw him. Was like he had this really weird experience where he was walking through, I think it's Edgerton in Huddersfield, which is lots of beautiful big houses there. And he was walking on it, and he got just that feeling, if you know what I mean. We've talked about like people getting this sort of like gut feeling at certain points where like something's not right here.
Yeah.
And for some reason, he looked up at this house, and there was this woman just staring out the window, not at him, but just staring down where he was. And she was not, as you say, of this time. There was something about her. She didn't look quite right. And now I need to go and walk past this house all day, every day, because as much as I'm terrified and petrified of like seeing a ghost, it's that sort of thing where it's so interesting and I do want to see it. And a few guests I've had on, like TJ from Barstool Preachers was on not long ago, and he was saying he had one where he woke up and his grandma who had passed away was in the room, and he didn't get a feeling of fear. It was a feeling of comfort and stuff like that. You know, he got the whole experience of like that feeling that something's somehow different.
Yeah.
The chills that you get, but it was also a sort of a comfort. But I've talked to other people who've seen a ghost, and like, it's the worst thing that's ever happened. But I do want to.
Also, Carl's story as well, his granddad.
Carl Smith, also about Super Preachers. When he was on, he was saying about when he had an experience with his granddad, and same thing, this feeling of comfort. But like I said, other people, one which are terrifying, where you just get this feeling of fucking dread. But like when we had Andy Hawkins last week, and he was telling me some stories for the first time ever that he'd never told anyone. But he had a very strange view on it. How he thinks that all spirits must be malevolent at some point, which I don't agree with. What's your thoughts there?
Spirits. So
About
like
ghosts,
what? Like we're all like passing through the
Well, his
the
thoughts
mortal
were
coil.
like, that he thinks all ghosts must be malevolent in some way. Must be something terrible that's happened. But then at the other end of the spectrum, I'm talking. Yeah, we're talking to other people. They felt discomfort. Like my stepdad, he felt comfort when he woke up. I think the night before he married my mum, and there was a lady nearly, and he's an unbeliever, a complete unbeliever. And there was a lady just kneeling next to my mum while she was asleep, just smiling at my mum. And he goes, he couldn't believe his eyes. He rubbed his eyes. He said, no, but it was still there. But it was also a feeling of comfort. There was this warmth. So do you think ghosts are malevolent, or do you think it's a mixture of both?
I don't know, man. I can't help but like shake this idea, like that. At some point, like whatever you do in your life, like your life is trying to teach you something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and like if you don't learn that lesson, like when you die, like that you might go somewhere else and just kind of have to carry on learning that lesson again and again, like until you learn it basically, and then you go on to the next phase or whatever. I don't know if that's like kind of Buddhist thing I learned, like I heard about ages ago.
Oh, that's cool though. Yeah.
Could be.
It could be,
But
man.
like,
Yeah. This is the
I
sort
get
of
that.
shit. That's the sort of thing I like. Like every week, I seem to be learning something new, and like hopefully bringing back something new to other people, so we can try and open up this crazy, fucked up paranormal world and learn a little bit more. And
That sounds really cool. If you do that many podcasts, you might just find the answer.
Just think, man. I mean, our mutual wonderful friend Steve Jones, when he was on, he told me some great stories about up at Think Tank and Riverside, and he's messaged me today actually saying, "Oh mate, something fucking else has happened." That's pretty much what I'm going to say. And he's like, him and some of the crew were working on something, and one of the crew saw by the curtain a hand there just pulling the curtain back, and they thought it was another guy in the crew, so he went behind. No fucker there.
What? Get out.
Yeah, so like when we're both up in Newcastle, Steve said that he'll give us all a go, and we can have a good look around. And because some crazy shit happens at Think Tank, he sent me videos, man. Like so much so that Steve's going to come down at some point, and we're going to do episode 2 with him, but in person, because we all love Steve Jones, man.
How can you not? Yeah.
But he's like, I used to own a record store at one point, and when he was saying about the curtain thing there, it reminded me of that. Like the Saturday girl we had, she quit on the spot one day because there was like all these dressing rooms where people could try on their Grebo Mosher clothing, and she was in the shop by herself, and like where a curtain just rolled back by itself, and just was like,
get out.
Yeah,
I would get that.
Oh. Yeah, then she stood up, got her keys, went to the door, walked out, locked the door. I quit. That is fair.
That'd have been me.
Yeah, I remember when I was doing that shop up, and I used to get a real big smell of like pipe smoke. Like, somebody that's really weird. Then one day this old lady popped in, said, do you mind me coming in? I was just doing the shop up going, well, it's not open yet, but yeah, come on in. Saying, oh, my husband used to own this, and he used to fix watches and clocks. And she was going on about it, going, yeah, he'd always have a digestive biscuit and a pipe in his hand, smoking his pipe. And I was like,
really?
The fuck, yeah. And he explained what had happened. I keep smelling pipe smoke. And she said, that's just him keeping an eye on you. So obviously I stopped wanking in that shop.
You put on the spot then.
But Sean, have you got your phone on you?
I do.
I'm going to send you a picture.
Okay.
I show this to every guest, although I forgot to send it to Andy last week. Even though he was here, I just forgot to show him.
Oh, yeah,
my friend in Orlando,
send it to him.
Brad, he's in a band called The Attack. He's going to be a guest in August because he's also got a second picture. And when I was in Orlando with him, he showed me this amazing picture. He was a non-believer, now a believer, because when he was in this hotel on a video chat, his missus picked something up, took a screenshot, sent it in, and here's that picture. I'd like to get your reaction.
Was that from a video?
Oh, I don't like what's behind him.
Exactly, man.
I thought
What the hell's
that?
Yeah, that is. Whew, that is crazy.
That's even weirder.
I think it's my favorite ghost picture I've ever seen in my life.
I would go white if I saw that.
Yeah. It's not nice. But he said he's got a better one, and he's trying to dig it out. And he said when he becomes on the podcast to be a guest, I'm finally going to let the people at home see the picture because I've not let anyone see it. And then he's going to give me this second one and shit like that.
You're not going to let anyone see it.
No, and do the whole thing again. But your thoughts on the paranormal? Does it freak you out? Does it make you feel warm inside?
I don't know, man. I've never had like a feeling of warmth at seeing anything like that, you know, like TJ or Carl. But you know, everyone's different in it. Like, you know, I tell you what, like my ex, like, you know, she said that she got this like mad chill at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
When we were like parked up at the services, just waiting to go home, and like, you know, her mum like texted the next day and said, like, you know, your nana passed away at 3 o'clock.
Fucking hell! I mean, yeah, no, that's like Andy's story last week, where he woke up when his mum was sick, woke up out of a really deep slumber, and woke up. It woke his wife up, and he's like, he knew that his mum had passed, and he got a phone call at that exact moment from his dad saying that. And it is that. I mean, there's that energy that we've all got, and as we know, energy can never be destroyed. It keeps going on, and I think when you're close to somebody, that energy does pass between people, and if you're connected to that person, I think there is a weird sort of shift which makes it so it affects you personally, you know, and not just with death, with like something maybe bad's happened to someone in your family or sad that you know to contact them or something like that. And there's got to be some not creepy, but paranormal about that and shit.
Mate, 100%.
There's a lot we don't know about this crazy, crazy world, man. And other worlds beyond.
Oh, that's it. It's getting crazier and crazier, isn't it?
Would you like to do a ghost hunt with me at some point?
Let's do that. I am 100% on board.
Would you? Oh, a random hand just popped up.
Hey! You
You
wacky kids.
would you ever do a Ouija board?
Got me. I'm a little bit funny about the old Ouija board, actually, mate.
Same,
I've never
mate.
done one.
Yeah.
You know, never done one. And when I hear about people doing them, yeah. I tell you what, there's a place in Holland called allllllll. And you've just reminded me basically like about last time I felt really weird, and it was at the graveyard right next to the place where they let all the bands sleep. It's a converted bunch of scout huts, or maybe they are used as scout huts for the rest of the year. But in the summer, when they hold the festival, Jera on Air or Yera on Air, I'm not sure which one it's called.
You're playing there this year, right, with Rancid and stuff?
Oh yeah, it's going to be amazing.
I know. Am I your drum tech for that?
Yes, you are.
Sick. Get it.
You're coming. And yeah, the graves you see there it's so many white crosses, and it really is quite a shock to look at.
Oh no, it's like I remember when we were on tour in the States and we were in New Orleans and we were walking around the graveyards there and all the like mausoleums and stuff, and it because of like the hurricane that happened, Hurricane Katrina, like still like things sticking out of the ground and there's just this sort of like energy, this feeling in that whole place. It's just like, oh,
this was after 2004 then.
Well, yeah, I mean, it happened, yeah. But yeah, it's like just a lot of it is just that crazy feeling where something's just not quite right, you know.
Yeah, you can feel it.
But yeah, I'm the same with like Ouija boards. I've done one once. I did not like it at all. It was creepy. Callum, the producer here, non-believer, but also said would not do a Ouija board. You know, so everybody knows how fucking.
He's a wise man. Yeah, he's a wise dude.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to take up all your time here tonight, so I've just got a couple more things to chat to you about quickly.
Yeah, far away, man.
Number one, you would probably know that this question's coming. Sean Howe, would you fuck a ghost?
I don't know. It sounds kinky.
It does sound kinky. Yeah.
I think it would just feel a bit too weird.
Yeah. That's a strong answer.
I mean, like, I've had sleep paralysis before, and I was absolutely convinced I was getting haunted.
Well, you see, I think 90% of our guests, we've talked about sleep paralysis, and every single one of them has a very similar feeling, seeing very similar things, and I can only put that down to fucking some paranormal energy of some sort.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what was your sleep paralysis like? Sorry about this. Stop.
Oh, it's fine. I thought I was getting legitimately haunted.
Yeah.
I've had it a few times now, and apparently it can be brought on through stress or other things that are going on. But yeah, the first time I had that, I thought I was getting haunted because it's the way something kind of can lay on your chest, or you can feel pressure on certain parts of your body. I was just convinced it was my old dog, because my old dog used to come and lay down on my chest. It was crazy. Honestly, I was like, Spice has come back. She's back.
If you could have some sleep paralysis, that's the one you want. You don't want the big demon, big scary mass of people being seen walking around our rooms and pinning them down.
You do not need that.
If it's Spice, was it?
Yeah, the licorice dog. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's Spice, then that's a good one to have. You know, that's got to make you feel real good. But Sean, thank you so much for joining me for Gigs and Ghosts today. I hope you've had a nice time.
I've had a great time. I would 100% do this again, and I'm 100% coming on a ghost tour with you sometime.
We will do it, man. We'll get big old Stevie Jones, and we'll do it all together, man. It'll be great times. Well, best of luck with this new album.
Scooby-Doo.
It's not gonna need any luck because it's gonna be fantastic and amazing. The tour is gonna be amazing. Go check out Random Hand. Go check out everything Sean does because he's an all-round good guy. Giving our drummer Ian some lessons at the moment, I believe.
I am, yeah. I can't teach him much because he's damn good. But
he talks great things about you, though, man. He does talk great
that's
things.
Nice.
He told me to tell you he's been practicing really hard, and then he said some word. I don't know what that word was, but he's been practicing it hard.
Is it just paradiddle-diddles?
Yeah, good old handsome Ian. Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much, man. It's always a pleasure to see your happy face, man.
You too, bro. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Soon. Like I said, go check out Random Hand on everything they do. Go check out Sean on everything he does. Thank you all once again for joining us for Gigs and Ghosts. We'll be back next week. I don't know who the guest is yet. I probably do, but I forget a lot because of the ghosts in my mind. But Sean, you keep being you, and we will hang very, very soon.
Thank you, mate. It's been so lovely. Thanks, both of you. Real pleasure.
Peace.
Take it easy. Stay spooky.